After O.J. Simpson's trial, defense attorney Alan Dershowitz made a striking statistical argument. He claimed that fewer than 1 in 1,000 women who are abused by their partners are eventually killed by them. If O.J. abused Nicole, and fewer than 0.1% of abusive partners became murderers, then evidence of abuse may make O.J. appear innocent. Let's define A as the probability that Nicole was abused by O.J., and K as a probability that Nicole was killed by O.J. Dershowitz focused on the probability of murder given abuse. In other words, if a woman is abused by her partner, how likely is it that the partner eventually kills her? That probability is indeed very small. But statistician I.J. Good pointed out that this isn't the question jurors care about. Nicole wasn't simply an abused woman. She was an abused woman who had already been murdered. Let's define one more event. K prime is the probability that Nicole was murdered by someone. Now the question becomes this. Given that Nicole was abused by O.J., and given that she was murdered, what is the probability that O.J. was the killer? Notice how we added a crucial piece of information. We already know a murder occurred. Good argued that once we condition on that fact, the probability jumps dramatically. Instead of less than 1 in 1,000, he estimated it was roughly 1 in 2. Later, statisticians Merz and Calkins analyzed homicide data from 1992 and estimated the probability was even higher, around 4 in 5, or 80%. Dershowitz responded with a counter-argument. He argued that when a woman is murdered, her husband or boyfriend is often the most likely suspect, regardless of whether there was a history of abuse. In other words, perhaps the abuse evidence wasn't adding much new information, because the relationship itself already made O.J. a likely suspect. In probability notation, his claim was roughly this. But Merz and Calkins disagreed. Using homicide data, they estimated the following. Their conclusion was that evidence of prior abuse substantially increases the probability that the abuser was also the murderer.